Yo, what's going on, everyone?
Hey,
I'm joined here with
ho ho
Victor
ho!
Gallegos. Oh ho ho. Oh ho. For someone who's first, new to the channel, they're probably like, what the heck is
What
going
did
on?
just happen here? Yeah.
What just happened here? Welcome everyone. We got tons of people already here in the chat because they're excited. We got 40 people watching this already. That's kind of nuts. That's crazy
Let's
that there's that
go.
many people.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Victor, look at that. Can we see that tie
Yeah,
real
yeah,
quick?
yeah. You can see it. It
Shout out that
actually
tie.
at the very end of it, it actually has little ornaments. Like
Oh
it's kind of
my
like cut
god.
out. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
That's
Let me
awesome.
stand.
So
Yeah.
we've
So
got so many people in the house already. We already got let's go, gentlemen. An amazing stream about to commence. Absolutely. We
yes.
got E-Man here in the chat says, I'm ready. Bob, I'm chomping at the bit. Let's go.
Let's
We got
go.
Nathan, Optimus FBA saying, what's going
Nathan,
on?
how's it
Merry
going,
Christmas,
man?
Scott. Scott, I'm pretty
Scott?
sure Christmas is in December, but for
Yeah.
us, it's actually in June right now.
Because
Steven
we get
says
to
he's
celebrate it. Yep. Yep.
yep, we got to celebrate now. Steven says, I'm more than ready. Tina
Yeah.
says, woohoo, let's
Woo! Yep.
go. We got Dale in the house. Let's go. We got so much love here. No carb noodle. Let's get this Christmas book party started. Ah, let's go. Cool tie, says Raymond.
Oh, thank
Yeah, I
you.
love that
Yeah.
tie as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh
That's
no,
a seasonal tie for sure as well.
it is a seasonal tie. If you can find this tie anywhere, this is a great tie to be purchasing
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. In the off season. No,
In the off season.
nobody's wanting this right now except
No,
for
no,
Victor.
nobody's wanting it right now.
We have Linda in the chat. We also got Chelsea saying, hey guys, Victor's
Hey,
tie
how's it
game is on
going?
point. His
Yeah,
seasonal
thank
book
you.
arbitrage game is even more on
Yes,
point.
that's right.
Christmas in June, says Karen. Let's go. All right.
Yep.
We're here to reveal version 2 of the Christmas list. If you guys or guys or gals here are new and haven't, you know, been here on the channel, basically Victor is all about seasonal books. He's the king of seasonal book arbitrage.
Mhm.
Blew my mind over a year and a half ago. And now, last year we actually made a list of 250 books that are Christmas and winter seasonal books. And we wanted to make this for people who had a little bit harder time finding seasonal books, but they wanted a good head start. And so we put together a list of 250 books. We sold that limit of 50 because we didn't want it to be, something
Yep.
that,
Right.
would tank a lot of these books. But we just like we were doing now, we had a launch party where we went over, I think, 10 of the books, right? I think we
10 of the
actually went over
books.
10 of the books
We
on the
went
list.
over 10 of the books. Yeah.
And what's gonna be super cool today is we're actually gonna go look at some of those same books we gave away last
Yeah,
year
to
in our
hold us
part of
accountable to see
yeah,
actually those Christmas books that you guys were like, oh, these are amazing. Actually, hold water or not? Are
yeah.
you just blowing smoke?
The proof is in the pudding. So we're gonna look
Yeah,
at those books that were not only available to the people who purchased the list, but to everybody on YouTube.
everybody.
Literally, like
Yeah,
could potentially a few thousand people. And
exactly.
we're
Yeah,
gonna see even if you're just watching that live stream, could you have made money? And then still, even if you were gonna buy some of the books that we're gonna give away today for free, could you still make money on them? So that's gonna be really exciting. Now, what's important to note is that version 2 picture's completely different. Can you explain that? How
complete.
is it
It's a
completely
complete.
different?
Okay, right, exactly. So our version one, we wanted to hold that sacred, right? We don't want to like oversaturate that list. So we were like, well, if we're going to sell that same list again, well, maybe we shouldn't really do it because we already sold to 50 people. We let them know it was going to be limited. So we just let that alone. These 250, that's version one, and that's all on its own. So version 2 is a completely different 250 books. These are totally different. None of them match the other books. They're completely different 250 books. We worked on this all year because it took me and you like 4 or 5 years to get our first list together. This second list, we worked on it for this year, and we finally actually just got over 250 books, and we're really excited about it. And it's a completely different list than the last time. Like I said,
Yep.
they all have that typical pattern where right now they're dirt cheap. They're like,
Yep.
Most of these books are like $5 to $10. And again, for Christmas time, they really all spike up. So ton of opportunities. And again, we're really happy that we're bringing this to you guys. So
Absolutely. Where can we get it? We'll go over that a little bit later on.
yeah.
But we're just excited because these are not like Christmas books that are necessarily easy to find as well. It takes a little bit more advanced keep sourcing strategies, techniques to find a lot of these books because a lot of them, even though they do really well in November and December, are not necessarily like a stereotypical Christmas book. A lot
Right.
of these books are like gifts that people buy, as Christmas gifts for other people. They're also about, certain flowers that are seasonal around that time, football teams, about other seasonal
Hunting.
events.
Yeah.
Yeah, hunting, right? There's a lot of these other, really interesting niches that pop off really well during that November, December, January time. And they're
Yeah.
very difficult to find because they may not be in the children's book category. They may not be in the Christmas book category. They might not have Christmas in the title, right? So
Or
it's
Santa
actually
or anything
just,
like that. Yep.
yeah. So a
Exactly.
lot of these books are very difficult to find, which is why we're so excited that and so confident that we know this list is going to do really well for a lot of people. So
Yeah.
uh, couple things that we have to get out of the way is that we are going to be incentivizing and Bookmind members. So if you're somebody in the Bookmind ecosystem, somebody who's a part of our software, we're actually going to provide an incentive or sort of a bonus for you because we want to say thank you for trusting us with Bookmind. We know that it's an awesome software, but thank you so much for
Yeah,
being with us. So
exactly.
the list will be available first and prioritized for Bookmind members. And I want to preface that by saying if you're a paid Bookmind member, like that's the one way we can really truly like give back to people who are
Yep.
supporting us with the software. Is like if you are a paid Bookmind member, then you'll have access to the list before anyone else. So basically, you have 1 week before anyone else that's a non-Bookmind member to buy it, and then it's also going to be a $100 discount on it as well, which is kind of
Woo!
right around like what
Yeah.
a 1 month Bookmind subscription is, right? So we
Right.
really
Right.
wanted to give back to the Bookmind members, and
Yeah,
that's really exciting.
exactly. So we wanted to give back, and I think this is a great way to do it because a lot of the Bookmind people were already the ones who wanted this Christmas list. So
Yeah,
let's just add an extra incentive for them. Like
yeah,
let's make it almost impossible, like impossible for them not to want to buy this
yeah.
list and use those Christmas books. So
Yep. So
yep,
something that you need to know is that we will be emailing you a little bit
yep,
later on today with the link. Again, that email is only going to be going to people who are active Bookmind members that are paid Bookmind members. So again, not necessarily if you're just trialing out, but if you actually paid for at least 1 month. And there is a way that if you you want your hands on the list because you're going to be a Bookmind member anyways, there is actually a coupon code that you can use. And
yeah,
that coupon code, when you're going through the Bookmind website to sign up for a trial, is actually a negative coupon code. What that means is it's going to take away the 10-day free trial. It's just going to make you pay automatically. But if you're
yeah,
someone who's like, I really want this list, and I'm going to be a Bookmind member anyways, you can put in the code all caps Santa, and
yeah,
essentially that will let you just pay for a Bookmind subscription right now. And the base subscription is 129, right?
right.
If you're a Bookmind member, you get access, to be able to buy the list, and you get $100 off what we will offer to the rest of the public a week from now anyway. So we also try to incentivize people who are on the fence that really want to be a Bookmind member. It's a way to subsidize at least a 1 month subscription. So with
Yeah.
that said,
Just go and put
um,
in Santa, and it'll right away trigger that's what's happened, and you'll automatically be a Bookmind member, and we'll then send you the link to buy the Christmas
yep.
list.
But
Yep.
for
Take
now,
my
we're just
money.
gonna go ahead and give value. We're just gonna go ahead and first view some of the Christmas books from last year
Yeah.
from version one list to see how those books did. And then we'll get into some of the books from version two.
And I
And
really
also,
think this is really important because
yeah,
again, every year they've even last year when we submitted this list, oh no, it's one of those lead lists that's going to get saturated. And I'm like, I don't think you understand what me and Joji do. Like
yeah,
we will make sure that these books actually will continue to spike year and year and out. Right? They've done this every year. We told them, and it's gonna do it again this year. And some people were like, oh, I don't know, I don't think I'm gonna do it.
yep.
Well, we're gonna actually see whether or not the books we shared to thousands of people, potentially thousands of people, whether or not they actually did spike again.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So, some other things is, hey, would it be possible to buy any of these lists later in the future? So, version one is already closed.
yeah,
Um, version two, that's what you can buy starting today. If you're a Bookmind member, we are going to limit to 50 after, a week from today. Essentially, next Wednesday is when it will be open to anyone else who's a non-Bookmind member.
yeah,
So, I don't know. It may, we have quite a few Bookmind members, so it may be bought out before that time even exists. It may not. We're not sure. But one thing I am really excited about, Victor, is we also have one more bonus incentive for anyone that does actually pick up the list today only. We're also going to give you a small mini list of 10 Christmas and winter season
yeah,
CDs and
yeah,
DVDs,
yeah.
and we're going to go over one of them on that list as well to show you like how insane some of the CDs and DVDs are. So we're
Which is
really
actually
excited.
pretty amazing. Like we just added that today. We're like,
Yeah.
hey, you know what? Let's add some extra like Christmas CDs on there. Like, okay, yeah, why not? And there's a ton of actually Christmas CDs and DVDs that were actually pretty high demand and actually pretty profitable. So why not? Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
We got Nathan says he wants a shirt. Yeah, we got to get those Bookmind shirts and those Bookmind hats out to people as well. So, um,
I agree
let's
with
get
you.
into the actual sharing. So we're gonna
Let's
start
go.
off with some. We're gonna go over. So last year we gave away 10 from
Yeah,
version one list. We're just gonna
yeah,
go over a handful of them, 5, 6, 7 of them, just because we also want to get into some of the books that are on version two list. But
yeah.
again,
And we
proof
don't
of the
want to be here
pudding.
for hours, right? We don't want
Yeah,
to do this for like 3 hours. So
yeah,
we're gonna share some new books that we
yeah.
have never shared before, and then we're actually gonna look back into last year's books to see how well those did.
Absolutely. So here we go, Vicky. You ready? Can you see my
Yeah,
screen?
let's do it. Let's
I'm
do it.
pumped. All right, this is such a classic book. Merry Christmas. the songbook. This is a Reader Digest book, and
Yeah,
we gave
yeah.
this book away as part of version one
Version
last
one.
year during the
Yeah.
live stream, and we did that live stream. I think right around this time. I think it was right around July or August, one of those times. But the book was hanging out right around $8 or $9. So again, if you guys are looking right now, my cursor is hovering over like August 10th, August 15th of 2023. So this would have been 4 months before Christmas actually hit, and basically, this whole time, you could have bought it for under $10, right? Base price, so plus
Mhm,
shipping probably would have been
mhm.
right around $12. And how did that book do there, Victor?
It did it as expected. It's done as it's done every other year. It went from $10 to $12 to like $30 to $40
Yeah, it went
as yeah,
lowest price in the mid-30s, right? Low,
yeah,
and then even at the kind of like the last half of December went up into the 40s.
yeah,
The buy box well into the high 30s,
right,
right?
right. That's
So
what I was seeing, right? The 40 to 50, even up to the $60 range.
yep. And so let's go over kind of what would have happened if you did purchase this book. By the way, Victor, how many people potentially could have purchased this book? How many people like saw this book from our live stream, from your Facebook group? Like how many people would have had their eyes on this book?
Well, I have like 2,300, but at the time maybe 2,000, and you have like 3,000 in your group. So up to maybe 5,000 people
Potentially.
saw this book. Yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere around there.
Obviously a lot of
Up to 5,000. Maybe like, even 2,000 people
yeah.
saw this book. Yeah.
Right. So I'm gonna just say you probably could have bought this book for right around $12 because one of the major tips as well for everyone is that eBay, a lot of the big booksellers were also
Yeah.
cross-listed on those websites. And if you go sort there by lowest versus a lot of these larger booksellers that will offer discounts, such as thrift books, they're offering 10% off 4+ items. So if you add a few different Christmas books there on eBay from their store, you can get 10% off. And in this
Yeah.
case, that would bring down your buy cost by $1.32. But oftentimes, Victor, they also have coupon codes like buy three, get one free, buy
Yep.
two, get one free.
That's right.
Um, and so they could be pretty insane in terms of like what you can actually buy the book for. So I would say one of the strategies is like going to eBay to try to see if you can't get the book a little bit cheaper with those
That's
discounts.
a
That's
great
really
way to do
awesome.
it. Yeah.
And what's really cool is that unlike on Amazon, on eBay, most of these big bulk booksellers include free shipping, which means like 10% off is the entire amount plus the shipping. Versus sometimes there's these little coupon codes on Amazon, but it's just for the base price, not shipping. That actually makes a pretty big difference as well. But
Right.
the point is,
Yep.
you could have bought this book for right around $12. This book
Mhm.
started buy boxing at $34.99 in September. So,
That's why people, as soon as you buy this book, send it
sure,
in because you
right.
could actually have sold it for $34 in September and called it a day.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's even really before the offer count started
Right.
taking a nosedive. And just think about how many offers went down, right? This went up to about 60 used offers and eventually made its way down to about 12. And again, as the season got closer, we had the buy box skid all the way up until the $45 range. So think about this, Victor. By
Yeah.
November, this would have
Yeah.
been November 19th. The buy box is now $45. You're now
Mhm.
talking 100% ROI
Yeah.
for each copy. And this is a book that we actually recommend on the list to buy a few copies of, not just buy one
Right.
copy
Right.
because of the fact that the sales rank does get quite low. And so you're potentially talking if you bought 3 copies and then you could bought them for 12, even if you sold them for 40 or 45, I mean, you're talking making $30, $40 profit off of one of the 240, 250 books essentially. And again, Victor and I wanted to provide the list to people who wanted to start with seasonal books, and we wanted this to be an immediate return on investment. So the goal, Victor, and even with the version 2 list, is for you
Yeah.
guys to get like a 2x, 3x return on your investment the first year.
This
And then
year.
it's just, yeah,
Yep.
just this year.
Yep.
And then it's just gravy every year after that. So the people who bought version 1 list, they're probably going through and buying those same books that they sold successfully
And
last year.
and
They're gonna
and
get it.
and we're holding to our word. We're not releasing a version 1 again. We're not re-releasing that, right?
Yeah.
But these books are like going to be your books, and you're going to be able to track those books forever and
Yeah.
continue to buy and sell those books. So,
But, I mean, this is just an incredible
yeah,
book. Every
it
single
is.
year, it's done absolutely amazing, and last year was no exception. And so, a great book there that Victor is hovering right around $13.86. If I come down here, you could potentially get it for 13.25, but 10% off. If you can get 4 other books in there, you could, bring it down to right around like $12. So there's
Yeah.
an awesome book there. We're gonna go on to the second book that we gave away last year and take a look at that. So what do we got here? Corgiville Christmas. What is this book about here, Victor?
I don't know. Something about Christmas. I have no exact, don't know exactly why, but it's a Christmas book that happens to do really well for Christmas. I
Yep.
don't know who wants this book, but apparently a lot of people. I mean, it every year just drops in price. So
Yep. So
yeah,
what was really cool about this book is at the time of live streaming, it was actually a little bit, when we actually launched that list, it was
Yeah.
actually a little bit higher price than normal. And
Yeah.
then later on, it actually got cheaper. It got down October, a little bit after our live stream. It got down to about the $25 mark. And you can
25
see how
range.
well this did during December. Essentially, this went out of stock on December, this would have been. So it first went out of stock here December 3rd, then came back on the listing with some sales in the 50s, then went out of stock here on December 9th. And then you can see for basically a week and a half, the best time to be selling this book, there's just no one on the listing. Someone came in on the listing at $69.99 and boom, they sold it there. But again, another book that did really well if you can get your hands on this book. And I mean, you can see this is one of the Christmas books that actually Victor tends to hold more value, right? Some of the
Right.
Christmas books are, get super dirt cheap in the
Yeah.
dirt cheap in the off
Right.
season because there's such high offer counts. Other ones are actually still a little bit rare or harder to find. What that means is in the off season, they still tend to have a little bit more, they hold their price a little bit higher, which means that your purchase price on this book needs to be a little bit higher. But for example, you could have bought this book for, all in $30 and this thing was flying off the shelf in the 50s. But then again, nobody was in stock for about a week and a half, Victor. I mean,
Right.
you could see how someone
Yeah.
asked $70 and they got it in a couple
They got
days.
it. Yeah.
They got it, right? They paid it. So I mean, I think that that would have also been true if you were somebody in this area and
Wow.
you were holding off at that price as well. So again, another book that every year tends to do really well. And again, tracking this book. So, tip here on the Keeper Graph, make sure you click track product, update your tracking. You can say $15, $20, update tracking. I would recommend doing it for a decade, Victor,
Yeah.
because
And don't you think that that book, like we sent it out to everybody and
yeah,
it still just sold out to like there
it
was
just
no
sold out.
copies on December 11th or whatever
Yeah,
that,
it was
from that
gone.
period, the best time that to
Yeah,
sell this book, there was none. And it looks like that person who was selling it for that high sky high price actually had
right.
more than one copy because it did drop a couple of times in
Yeah,
the
there's a
sales
couple of
run.
drops afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Third book that we gave away during the live stream last year for the version 1 list, The Tall Book of Christmas. A really kind of unique book. I mean, you can kind of see it's not normally like the normal way a book is formatted, but
Hmm.
one thing that you could see with this book is again when we shared it, it was kind of in the high 30s and the 40s. So not all the books that we're sharing are going to be books that are really, really cheap. A lot of them are books that have the potential to sell for 80, 90, $100 plus during the actual, winter season because of the fact that they're, rarer books. They just hold a lot of intrinsic value. In this case, look how crazy this was, Victor. So we have starting here in early December, the offer count just taking a nosedive, and then we by December 20th, we're completely off the listing. We had buy box prices as high as the 80s, but we had complete listings in the mid
Yeah.
70s.
Right.
So what's even crazy is even in February, you can see that this book is even selling in the 50s, even selling for $65 in March. So this is a book that potentially could even do really well year round. I
Yeah.
mean, you can even see July, August, September, October that
Because
they're
there for a while there was actually no copies at all. So people were
yeah,
desperate for this book for a while.
yep.
Yeah.
And look at these drops in price as well. Look when this dropped from $59 down here to what would this been? $59 down to 23, like someone bought that instantly. Same thing here. This book dropped from 49 down to 15.99. Someone bought that instantly. So again, tracking the book is really important, but this is a book that performs very well every year and has historical precedence for selling for well over 100. So even though
Yeah.
like if we're looking here, this, buy box prices got up into the 80s, but it did go out of stock. I mean, this is a book that I still think could sell for well over 100. And again, the
Yeah.
reason why I say that is if you go back in time, you can see times when the lowest used price was well over $100, Victor,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
you see multiple sales rank drops. So this
Right.
is a book that is in lower offer count normally, but if you can snag a copy, it's going to do incredible. It's going to do amazing. So the Tall Book of Christmas, really cool
Yeah.
book there. All right. Any questions on that, Victor? Or can we move on to the next one?
Yeah, let's go move to the next one. Let's
All
keep
right.
looking. Let's keep
So now
looking at
we're
our
going
books.
on to number 4.
Yeah.
So the 4th book that we gave away during the live stream for version 1 last year. This one is a children's book called Santa Claus and His Elves. It's a book that probably came out quite a long time ago, probably before the 2000s,
Yeah.
if I had to
Yeah.
guess, because it looks
It
like
looks
that, right?
old, right? Yeah,
It's
it looks
old.
like one of those entrenched books.
Yep. Okay, and so right around our live stream, right, this is a book that we could have picked up for right around 12 to $15.
Yeah.
You can see every year this is a book that also does quite well. I mean, in January 2021, someone was listing it there for $1,200. I don't think they sold it for
I
that.
don't think that one.
I don't
Yeah,
think they
it's a
sold
little
for
too
that.
high.
But
Yeah.
clearly there are sales there in the 70s, even up to the 90s for a book. So a book that can easily sell in the 40s and the
Yeah.
50s. Last year, you can see how, buy box price got up there starting in, let's say, December 3rd up into the 40s. The lowest used price was right around the high 20s and then even up into the mid 30s. So another book that did really well. And look at how that offer count just absolutely dove, right?
Yeah.
Now,
That's a really healthy book.
yeah, really healthy book. And so someone might say, Victor, well, look at this big spike in offer count.
Yeah.
But even though that is true, that offer count did spike, and you could maybe argue, oh, it's because you gave it away to 3,000 people, which is probably why it did spike there. What still happened? Did people still make money?
Yeah, everyone
Did-
still
did-
made money on that book.
and
It's
again,
12 to $40, yeah.
and that's a book that we gave away to, potentially thousands of people, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, the
I
only
went back to look at our live stream, it has over 1,000 views. So
yeah,
we at
that's
least
over
give it to 1,000 people.
at least 1,000 people, right?
Yeah,
And over, only 50 people will have access to the whole 250 book list from last
right.
year. So many of those books do absolutely amazing just due to the fact that very few people have seen them, right? So
Mhm.
still a book that did really well. We're going to go on to the next book here that we gave away during our live stream for version 1 last year. This Oh my gosh, Victor loves this book. He
I
loves
do
The
love this
Donkey's
book.
Dream because you look at it, and I don't know, do you think it's a Christmas book when you look at it? I don't know. I don't know if I
I feel
would
like
automatically
no,
say
it
that.
doesn't look like a Christmas book, but that's the reason one of the main reasons why I love it,
Yeah.
because there's absolutely no reason to think it is a Christmas book until you see the pattern of it and you're like, "Oh my gosh, this book sells in October, November, December so well." It's
Yeah.
definitely a book you always want in your inventory.
Okay, so we gave away this book right when it was right around $4.
$4.
We said, "Hey, probably this is when people watch the live stream. Maybe 8 to 10 people actually took action on it, right, during that time."
Yeah.
And that's probably that dip in offer count there. They could have picked it up for, probably right around $7,
Mhm.
maybe even $6 shipped on eBay. And what happened during the selling season there?
Wow, I mean, it just kept on selling and
Yeah,
selling and selling. The used offer count kept dropping and dropping. We got down to like 10,
10,
and the
right?
the buy box went up to around 30 35 to $40.
Yeah, 35 to
Yeah, 30
40,
$35. Yeah. That's
right?
great.
And one thing to mention about these older Christmas books as well is that condition does tend to matter a little bit on
Mhm.
these. And just remember that the buy box price, just because the buy box price is 34, doesn't mean that no sales came from people who had their book listed higher than that. Because think
Yeah.
about it this way: the buy box here at 34.49 could have been an acceptable copy being held
Yeah,
out,
right.
and there's some
Usually it
very
is.
good copies at 39.99,
Yep.
42.99, and often people will actually buy those as well. So um, sales rank of this got incredibly low, offer count got incredibly low, and this is again another book that right now is hanging around right around $5. I think has a lot of opportunity to do amazing, and I'm hoping everyone here is seeing that. So the
Yeah,
Donkey's
so
Dream,
although we're showing you these books, you should really consider buying them. Well,
yeah,
actually,
you
most of
should
them are
actually
really good
consider
deals right
buying
now.
them
Right, yeah. This
because
is a really good deal right now.
we
Yeah.
told people to do that last year, and for the people who actually listened and bought them, they did well. But in order for you to make money, you actually would have had to have bought these books, right?
Yeah.
Now, I think we have a couple more that we're gonna go over that were on the
Yep.
version 1 Christmas list that we gave away for free during the live stream. We got Peter Spear's Christmas here. This book is hanging out right around $3 right now, and you can see, last year, I mean, started buy boxing at $25 in
Yeah.
September, right? So, if we were to go to eBay, let's see if there's any, like, special discounts on this book. Let's go ahead and look at lowest first here. So, it looks like 571 potentially is the lowest that you can buy this book for right now, acceptable condition. So, if you were to go 571. I mean, you could have potentially sold this book in September for 25. So let's see. I'm assuming that would be like a $6 or $7 profit just selling it 3 months before the season. So if you were to be the one to sell at 25, you're making 100% ROI, $8 profit. Do you even have to touch the book there, Victor?
No, no, it's too bad because I actually like these Christmas books, but yeah, you don't have to touch these books.
Yeah.
It goes directly to your prep center. That's actually after the prep center fees, right?
Yeah,
So this is
that's
yeah,
actually after prep center fees, right?
yeah,
So you can see my prep fee is 225 there, 30 cents for inbound shipping on that book.
yeah,
All of Amazon's fees. And if you really want to get granular, like let's say you did buy this book now and send it in, you'd wait 6 months. So you can actually add storage fees on SellerAmp, and you can see profit would be 7.59. If you let it sit there for 6 months, it's now $7.08. So this is why we say send it in, because there would have been a high likelihood that you actually would have sold in September there
right.
because of the
And
fact
then
that the
wish
buy
you would have
box.
bought more. Wish you would
Yeah,
have listened to us right now and bought more copies of this book.
right.
Yeah.
And so you can see this is a book also that has done really well. It gets into the high 20s and the 30s basically every year. And these are the
Mhm.
types of books that we wanted to share. We wanted to find you. We didn't want just some books that like, oh, maybe this year, but not really. No, we wanted to find books that like every year. are going to do really well.
Yeah.
Um, with that said, we can't guarantee that any particular book is going to do really well. What we can guarantee is that the overwhelming majority of them are probably going to do very well.
Yeah.
But let's go on to our last book here, Victor, that we gave away last year during our live stream. We have Cafe Nervosa. So cookbooks are awesome. Why are cookbooks so awesome for Christmas here, Victor?
Because most people are trying to find new recipes for Christmas, right? Their families coming in. They got Christmas already set up, right? Christmas Day, but they also have to cook the days before, so they have a whole cookbook to try to figure out that type of stuff. Plus, sometimes even then, like people are buying this for like Christmas gifts, and
Yep.
like a lot of these older cookbooks still are really popular during Christmas time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, a book that every year, every season does really well. The best year this ever had was during the COVID year, where it got up
Yeah.
into the $200 range, which
That's
is
crazy.
kind of mind blowing. The fact that it went that high.
It sold that for that high.
It sold for that high. There are
Yeah.
sales ring drops at that price.
Yeah.
Actually, not even just one. There are multiple sales ring drops that high. So one thing that you'll notice is that that's actually a point in time when the offer count did get to zero. Last year, the offer count didn't get to zero. It got down in the 20s. But even despite that, right, still was buy boxing in November for upwards of
Hmm.
$44
Hmm.
and buy boxing at 35s and the 40s going into December there, even in the 50s, kind of starting at the later half of December as well.
Yeah.
So a book that again approved in sales rank and actually just tends to sell year round normally very well. But again, a book that you should track is look at this, Victor. You got to pick this book up in April of the last year for 79 cents plus shipping, and you had a good week and a
Wow.
half to buy some
Yeah.
copies. So not sure if that'll happen again, but that's why you want to track the book, right?
Right.
So that you can get notified when things like that happen. So
So
let's
definitely a
go
book
over.
you would have made money from buying and selling this year. So
Yep.
well done
Absolutely.
to those who did it.
Absolutely. So let's go over and let's look at some shirts here. Some shirts. Let's go over and look at some comments. So I saw this comment was
Yeah,
fire
yeah,
great
yeah.
shirt.
That's what
Nathan
happened.
says, I want a shirt. Yeah, we want a Bookmine shirt and a Bookmine hat. We really
We got to
by
make
we I
those.
mean
We have
I.
we just made like a special order for us to go to the Miami Sellers Conference. But yeah, we're working on that. That's something on our to-do list. So
Absolutely. Misa says, how about if I'm on the 10-day trial but I want the list? Okay. So the one way that you could still access the list, even if you're on the 10-day trial, you can use a code
mhm,
called, all caps Santa. Essentially,
yeah,
that will take away the 10-day trial, and then you'd have to pay for your subscription. But then remember, because you're now a paying Book My member, you'll get an email with a link that's $100 off the list. So
right,
essentially, we're trying to subsidize, right, that first month of Bookmine to help people who
correct,
are on the fence as well, right? Because
right,
long term, we really truly do believe in Bookmine. We want to build out the software. Obviously, you can see from people here in the chat that there's people who love Bookmine. We love Bookmine, and we've got tons of plans for the future. So we're trying to get people on board, and this is one way for us to incentivize that. Linda says, same, sell some Bookmine swag. Ooh, even
yeah,
sell it. That's awesome. Sarah says she bought the songbook today. It's another Bookmine
yeah,
member. Demon says I bought it too. Awesome.
yeah.
What did I
Because
miss? How much
it's
is the
on
list?
book mine right now,
Yeah.
actually. So that's what
Oh, it's on
happened. Yeah,
Bookmine now.
yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
a cool thing as well, right? Remember that
yeah.
Bookmine even has some seasonal books, but not even close to all the books that are on this list are going to be on there, right?
That's
Because
correct. Yeah,
remember,
right now there's
Bookmine is
about like 30 of them that have
right.
showed up. Right.
Remember, Bookmine is looking for the books that are significantly undervalued now relative to past historical sales.
Yeah.
So that means that not all of those books, actually, most of those books won't be on Bookmine per
Hmm.
se. Um, but it's also cool to just have a list, Victor, because then you know, okay, these are the books that I'm trying to buy this year, right? And think
Right.
about it, like when I ask Victor, when we ask people like how many books do you have in inventory, a lot of times people are like, oh, 150, 200, 300. I'm like, yes, these are 250 books that you could add to your inventory. Like this is,
Yeah, this
and
is an
pick up
extra
multiple
250
copies.
books that you're like, okay, I only have 200 books. Well, now you can have 450 books in your inventory. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Brian says, what I miss? How much is the list? So again, people are like, hey, how much is the list?
Hey,
Let's buy
that's all I want to know.
That's what I know.
That's nice that last year this happened, but tell us
Yeah.
the stuff. Tell us the
Yes.
real tea here.
Version 1 last year
Yeah.
was $397. Sold that to
Yeah.
50 people. Now version 2 is for non-Bookmine members going to be 397, same
Yeah.
price.
Yeah.
But to incentivize the people who've been with us and are active paid Bookmine subscribers, only going to be 297. So we're bringing down the price $100 for Bookmine members. We're just trying to make it sweeter.
Yeah.
And if you buy today as well, like we mentioned, you guys are going to get a mini list of 10 CDs and DVDs, which we'll go over here later today. Where I'm really excited about. Um, what else we got? Do you ever implement bargaining with eBay sellers, like even non-offer listings? Do you ever message and see if they'll sell lower? That's a really good question. I think there is definitely opportunity. You got to think about like, okay, is it worth my time to get this book for $1 less, or just make $5 profit instead of $6 profit and move on to the next book kind of a thing.
Yes,
What I will say,
on these particular Christmas books, they're like $5. What am I? Hey, can I get it for 4? I mean, maybe, but that's it's going to cost me more time to just write them back and forth.
right,
That book that was like holding a lot of value, that was like a
yeah,
$60 book. Maybe that was like, okay, trying to get that down to $20, maybe, right? But these Christmas books, there's no point in negotiating. You're going to get it dirt cheap, and you're going to sell much higher than that. So
yeah.
yeah,
So if you're gonna do that, Feet and Gun, I would just say do it for the ones that are more expensive. Like we looked at the Corgiville book, which is like a $40 book almost all year round,
yeah, yeah,
and goes up to 80, 90 plus. So plus. That'd be a book if someone's listing it for like 45. Hey, would you take 35 for it? That's something
yeah,
that is possible.
right. So
But like Victor said,
actually
this.
his name is Cody. So yeah,
Oh,
he
Cody.
just told me
Okay.
that. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, Cody. Cool, cool. So now looking at them now, let's
yeah,
see. Be careful. Many of the books sell hardcover and softcover. Make sure you
yeah.
know which version sells
That's a
and
good
don't buy
point.
it. Scott, pro tip there. Definitely. No Carb Noodle says we need that Book Mine shirt.
Yeah.
Steven says just bought the 8 Peter Sears Christmas book. Let's go.
Yeah.
I
Smart
have
way
them
to do
all.
it.
Pretty tall books of Christmas is among them. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. What we're gonna do now is get into some of the books now that are actually on the version 2 list that
So
are really
we've
cool.
never shared these books, right? So that's actually pretty cool.
Yep.
In our first time we did a video together, we actually recorded some Christmas books on there also, and it was like that was game changing. So this is the first time we actually show you these books at all. So it's actually really exciting to see them.
Okay. So let's go into this first book. Let me go ahead and present my screen here.
Yeah,
Okay, so one book that we didn't put on the version 1 list, which is now on the version 2 list, is called Christmas Oranges. Look at this book. Looks like an awesome Christmas book here. Last November and December, what we're seeing with the sales rank, I mean, I'm hoping that if you're an experienced bookseller, even if you're a new bookseller, that you see how low that sales rank got. Look at December 1st, Victor. Sales
yeah,
rank is down in the low 50,000s, and this
yeah.
book is selling a ton. Buy box price is
A
up into the
ton.
28s into the low
Yeah.
30s. By mid-December, as high as 35. There's even periods of time where there's actually no buy box being registered. And what might be the reason for why, Victor, we might not see a buy box price register there?
Um, just because literally it was selling out. Like there was just no FBA offers at all. It was just selling quite quickly.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so look at this book over. So literally we talk about a decade, right? Let's look
yeah,
at 2014. What
yeah.
happened in 2014 with the used prices? Amazon was in stock, could have bought for
Yeah,
24 cents and it went up
yeah.
to like right around Amazon's price. A lot
$14.
of
Yeah.
these books though are going to get really high when Amazon goes out of stock. You can see the first year Amazon went out of stock, this got up into the 20s, high 20s and 30s, right?
And that's a really good point. When Amazon goes out of stock, like they were in stock for years and then they finally get out of stock.
Yeah.
Wow, these Christmas books even spike higher than normal.
Yep. So I
Yeah.
mean 2020,
Yeah.
2021,
I mean, you
2022,
can easily see it. Hopefully,
23.
hopefully everyone can see this.
Yeah, hopefully
Every
everyone can see
November,
it.
December, there's just mountains that just happen
Yeah.
every Christmas time.
Mountains and mountains and mountains. So again, this is something that you definitely would want to put on a tracker. This book is probably going to do quite well this year as well because for whatever reason the prices here are a little bit higher than they are normally. But a book that I would consider tracking, probably buying for under $8 if you can. Hopefully over on eBay and
Hmm.
selling in the high 20s to mid 30s is what I would guess.
Yeah.
I would say, Victor. But
Right.
really cool Christmas orange book. Now, one other tip and some advice we have for you if you're trying to find your own Christmas books because maybe you're not in the position to be able to buy the list, which is totally fine. Make sure you go down and actually look at frequently bought together. Why would people want to do that, Victor?
That's so smart, actually, because once Amazon realizes that you're someone who's buying Christmas books, they'll recommend other Christmas books to you, and like, hey, people who bought this book also bought this book, so they'll have a very similar pattern to them. And yeah, that there's some books down here that I know that I would definitely buy, like the one you're just highlighting there. That's a great Christmas book, by the way. I don't know if we're gonna go into that, but that's an awesome
Yeah.
book.
I mean, let's just
Yeah,
briefly open the link to these two
yeah.
tabs. So we're just showing, giving a little bit of the free sauce away, a little bit of extra value. So we just, again, all we did was we looked at this awesome Christmas book that we're giving away, that we're showing you. Go down under frequently brought together, similar items that ship as well. Look at this book, a Christmas dress for Ellen. I mean, look how well this book did. Got into the mid
Yeah.
20s. Every year looks to do the same as well. I don't know off the top of my head if that was on version 1 list. It probably was.
No,
But
it's not because that book didn't go high enough, right? It probably
oh,
only
we
got
didn't.
to the
Okay.
$20 point. So we're trying to get books that are a little bit higher than that. So this book didn't make it, but yeah, it's still a really good book that you probably buy for a few dollars and sell for 20 and still
Yep.
make at 100% ROI.
Yeah, I mean, this book did get up into the
Oh, it
20s,
did
high
there at the
20s.
very end.
So, it looks like that year actually did better than maybe the previous year.
Yeah.
And then this other one here,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania
This
Dutch
one
Night.
did.
Look at this, Night Before Christmas, Victor, when would somebody
Yeah.
want that? The night before Christmas, right?
The Night Before Christmas series, it said. So yeah, it's a whole series of books.
And look how well this did this previous year. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm pretty certain this one was on the list, and look at this.
Yeah,
So
it was. Yeah.
people would have been able to pick this up for 12,
Yeah.
13 bucks. It got up there into the high 30s, went out of stock essentially
Yeah.
by December
It did.
20th. There's one offer on the listing.
That's wild.
So, amazing book. So, a little bit of a free tip there, but there's the first book that we wanted to show you guys. We're gonna go ahead and show
And
another
each one of
book.
those books are at least 20 years old. The three
Yep,
books we just looked at. Yeah.
yep,
So
yep. Okay, we're gonna go over another book here. This is called the Sports Illustrated Dallas Cowboys book, and what we want to showcase with this book here is that this is not a stereotypical Christmas book. It actually has nothing to do with Christmas at all. It's a
mm.
book about football. Its subcategory is not children's Christmas books, nor does it say Christmas in the title. How would we find a book like this, Victor? I mean,
It's really difficult actually. Yeah. You just have to be out there on the wild basically and always just source every day to actually stumble onto these type of books, and
right,
that's what's happened with us, right? We're sourcing every day and
right.
sourcing all through the day, and that's just how we find books like this that actually have these unique patterns to them.
Yep, absolutely. So you can see, 2020, 2021,
Yeah.
2022, 2023. I mean, proof's in the pudding, right? This is a book that got up into the 40s and 50s, right? I don't know about you, Victor. I'm pretty sure there's more than just one football team
Sports
out
team,
there.
yeah, yep,
And also
exactly.
there's also some college football teams that are very notorious and very popular as well. So I would say looking at other Sports Illustrated books for NFL books would also be a good idea. Now, yeah, awesome book here. Uh, any other questions you got here, Victor? I mean, I think it's pretty
No,
self-explanatory,
it's
right? For a book
pretty
that
easy there. Yep.
could buy as low as $10 and potentially sell for 40 or 50. Awesome book. So that will be on the version 2 list there. Let's go over another book here. That will be on
These
the
are
list.
great books.
This is a great book right here. I'm
Yeah.
really excited we found this book. Let's actually take a look at this book
I'm
here
pretty
on
sure this is the book you found. So yeah, this is
yeah.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, this is why I'm also like, yeah, I found
Yeah.
this book. The Illustrated Encyclopedia of Camellias. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. I could be potentially saying that wrong, but this came out in 1998. So this book
Yeah.
is over 20 years old, and it's a book. Well, I think it's about a certain type of flowers. I think that's what camellias are. And again, the awesome thing about book selling, Victor, is do you need to know anything about the books you're selling?
Actually, you don't. You just need to
Yeah.
know that it's a flower book, and it kind of makes sense. Okay, I bet this flower only blooms at a certain time, and that's probably why we're seeing this pattern. Okay, check. All right, and then you're off to the races.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even though this book right now is priced pretty high, honestly, it's priced in the 40 range. That's pretty high. One thing you can see from last year is that this book was selling in the 70s pretty
Hmm.
well. But what you could also see is in the past, there is actually historical precedent of it going even much higher than that. Like if you look at 2021, you had multiple sales range drops here, Victor, in the 130s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
45 now, potentially, I'd say pretty conservatively selling for, high 70s, low 80s, but potentially even into the 120s. You can see that the next year after that, it also had some sales rank drops that high as well. You even look at this, Victor. You had some sales rank drops in the 200s,
Wow.
a bunch of sales rank drops in the
Some
120s.
people are really serious about flowers.
Yeah, and one thing to note is that
Yeah.
this is what we would not constitute as a Christmas book. We would call this a
Yeah.
winter book, which is why we
Yeah.
call it the
Exactly.
250 Christmas/winter books, because
Yeah.
this is a book that starts to do really well there in late November, but its season actually goes on well into February and March. And you can see there are plenty of sales for a book like this. So look how much opportunity you had even
Just
this
sells
previous
out.
March. I mean, it even got
Yeah.
down to $33 for what would
Yeah.
have been 4 or 5 days there. And then the next sale was at like $63, right?
Right.
This is a book that at such a low offer count, like look at today's offer count, Victor, it's at 9.
Yeah. And
At
that's
last
why
time
it's actually probably a little bit higher right now.
yeah, it is, right? That's why it's gonna be a little bit higher. Last year it was at 14, but it's a book that once it gets really low, potentially can go really high. But again, another book that you should set up and you should start tracking here because there's tons of opportunity. Again, what we wanted to showcase here is that this version 2 Christmas book list that we're, gonna be given, is not just all children's Christmas books, right?
Yeah.
It's a wide
Wide
variety and range
range.
of books.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's an awesome book about actually flowers, which is really cool. So $45 looks like the cheapest price that you can buy from a Goodwill there, and that actually looks to be a little bit cheaper there on Amazon, 43. But again, a book that you should track for years to come. It's possible that as over the next 2 or 3 months, actually as the offer count rises, Victor, the price of this could
Mhm.
get lower. So
It
you
yeah,
might
more than
even
likely it will.
yeah,
And
more
if
than
it
likely it will.
doesn't, even if it doesn't, if it stays at that $45 range and there's only 12, there's only what 15 sellers
Yep,
on this listing, that book's going to go much higher. It's going to go to the
yep,
100, $150 as it has in the past.
yep. This
Yeah.
book last July, August was even as
Yeah.
low as under
Definitely
$10.
track this book.
Yeah, track that book, awesome book. And again, another pro tip, right? What else do you see down here, Victor?
Other
You
books
said
about this same flower. And
a
I
lot of
wonder
books about
when do they also bloom at the same time, the same exact flower?
yeah,
Probably so. So
they
this
all
they
yep,
probably will have a very similar pattern.
yep. So I would recommend going there and
Yeah.
taking a look at them. And it's not like every single one of these books is going to be a
Right.
winner, but the idea is what Victor and I are also trying to teach people is how to fish, right? We're trying to teach you how to spot opportunity, how to, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, Victor and I look at thousands and thousands, like many tens of thousands of books, definitely a year,
Yeah.
thousands of books on a monthly basis for sure.
Right.
And what you'll notice is that the more books that you just look at on Keepa, the more patterns you start to recognize, the more little tips and tricks and techniques you pick up to become a better bookseller. And so we're trying to share some of those with you, even if you're not going to be purchasing the list, just to give you guys some value. Because our goal, really, Victor, is to help you
Yeah.
guys become better booksellers, regardless if you're a BookMime member, regardless if you
Yeah,
actually buy
exactly.
this list,
What we
regardless
did
if you
was
come
we
to
just go ahead.
yeah, I was just say regardless of if you come to Books and Beyond Resellers Conference, the
Yes.
goal is that we
Yep.
want you guys to be successful selling
Yeah.
books.
Yeah.
Yep,
What we did was just give you a topic, right? We gave
yep,
you a topic here that you can actually go find other books that actually will have a very similar pattern to them. So it's something where you can make your 250 book list into like 400 books by the
yep.
end of it all once you actually go in and source and find other books. So yeah.
I think this is my favorite book out of them all, Victor. It
I
took
know you
me
were like, let's talk about this book, and I'm like, really? I mean, I know it's a Christmas, it pops for Christmas, but it's a unique book.
tell me so why would this be a book that might be hard to find, Victor?
Because it has no way at all in its title or even in its picture realizing this could be a Christmas book.
Right, and
I still don't know. I wish I could buy someone who like I could see the actual address and talk to the person who bought this book and ask them why it for
yeah,
them they're buying it for Christmas. Why sometime during December you're like, right, I need this book.
yep.
I don't know, but it happens.
I don't know, and
Yeah,
there's not
yeah.
even this is the description, book by.
Bye.
There's not even a description of what the book's about, but he took my licking for me. As soon as I saw
From
that
me.
title and I saw the keeper guy, I just started busting up, Victor. I
You
was just
did,
like,
you
"That is
did, you really did.
hilarious.
Yeah.
That's just the funniest book ever." And what do you see happening here every single Christmas, Victor?
It spikes during Christmas, right? The rest of the time, right now, it's dirt cheap, and then every Christmas it really spikes. So,
Oh,
yeah, it's
$5.
crazy. Like I don't know how you decide in December, like, hey, I need to buy that book. He took my licking, I think it's something like that.
He
Let me
took
go
my
find
licking.
it.
It's a hey, Victor, you didn't know it's a classic folktale. It's a
Yeah,
classic
yep,
folktale. So maybe
yeah.
someone in the comments actually knows.
21
Uh,
years it's
Yeah.
been selling.
Yeah, really good question someone would ask is, "Well, Joji Victor, there's a new copy at $22. How do you guys know? Or, why do you predict it's gonna get higher than that?" Well, again, just look at past historical data. So in this previous year, what happened to the new price here in October, Victor? Can you see that price?
Yeah, I mean it kind of also dips down and then it's kind of just sells out. That book sells out and the next book sells out. I mean,
Yep.
at the $22 range that this person has, it only has one copy. So
Yeah.
that book is going to sell out really quickly. I'm not even worried about that new seller.
Yeah, and there's even multiple you
Yeah.
can go back to 2018, there's a
Yeah.
new copy at 17.95,
Yeah.
it went up to
Sells out.
25 in the used price.
Yeah.
You can see the next year, that there's a new copy at 15 and the prices went up into the 35. So it's something that is a repeated pattern as well, right? Victor and I are always about like, well, what pattern can we spot? And again, it's not like we can with 100% confidence say that this book is going to get up into 35s and 40, but if you're buying the Christmas seasonal list of 250 books, the majority of them are going to do really well, especially due to the fact that we're not sharing it to thousands of people right now. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to share this because again, how would you find this book? There's no Christmas, there's no elves, there's no Santa, there's also no reindeer in the title, there's no children's Christmas book, there's no Christmas
Snow.
gift category. No,
No.
it's just like, how would you find this book? It's just
Yeah.
somehow, I don't know if it was me or you, maybe I don't know who it was.
I
Somehow we
think it
came
was me
across this
because
book.
I showed it to you and that's where you started laughing.
Yeah, and it's an awesome book there. So we're really excited. That's three books that we wanted to share that are, or actually four books that are going to be on the list. And one last thing that we wanted to also give value to you guys is there are CDs and DVDs out there as well in Blu-rays that are awesome. Anyone who is a Book My member, again, only Book My members would be able to buy it today.
Yeah.
Paid Book My members would be able to buy it today. Any Book My member that buys the list today as well, we're going to incentivize you guys with also a mini list of 10 CDs and DVDs. This is one of the 10 that we're going to give away, and a very Herald 3D Christmas. I mean, let's go and look at this book.
So
So
this will
let's
be
get
my first year buying CDs and DVDs.
right.
And Joji, you did it last year, and
Yep.
actually, you're the reason why I decided to go into it because you're like, hey, Christmas DVDs and CDs are actually pretty awesome too. So
Yep.
I'm gonna be buying some of those too because they're dirt cheap right now.
Yep.
So
Yep. So this is one in 2 years ago, got up into the 40s and the 50s, and potentially some sales in the 60s. Was even
yeah,
buy boxing there in late November as high as $69. You can see this previous year, August, September, you could have picked it up for under 15. Got into in the 30s, the 40s, started buy boxing at the high 40s. Even sold into January into the 40s as well. And a book that as of recently was as low as $10 as well. But again, another one that you can track. And again, there's going to be 9 other CDs and DVDs that are also, CDs and DVDs that can get up
that
into
we're
the
just giving
30s
to you
or
as a
higher.
bonus, right?
Yeah, just a
Right.
bonus. Just
Yeah.
anyone who ends up buying it today. If you don't buy it today, no worries. You wouldn't be able to get this list of 10, but um, the bread and butter anyways is going to be the Christmas list. This is just a little extra. And Victor and I were always like, how can we just make it even better? Like, how can we
Yeah,
just
let's just
like, how
throw
can we just
everything in because both me and you talked about this, Joji. I don't know if we're going to be able to find any more Christmas books, right? I think we've
Yep.
really dug the whole Christmas list out.
Yep.
I don't know if there's anything else out there, but if there is, there is. But I think this might be it. We don't know for sure. And so we're
Yep.
like, yeah, we had some Christmas DVDs. Let's throw them in. Let's see, give it to them for free.
Why
So
not?
yeah,
Absolutely. Okay, let's see. So we've got Misa saying, how much in fees do you guys allocate for inventory placement for Christmas books to be profitable if using a prep center? Okay, so for me, I have to pay $2.25. I think for Victor, who uses Little Owl, it's a little bit cheaper than
it's
that,
185 for me. Yeah,
right? And what I'm seeing in terms of like inventory placement is it's usually coming out to about $1 per book, right? Victor, are you saying something similar in terms
yeah,
of inbound
yeah.
shipping,
A
right?
dollar
So total
exactly.
cost for me is 225 for the prep center plus $1 to get the book there. And it's still very profitable, right? We're talking buying a book for 6, selling for 27, making $6 or $7 profit. We're
Yep.
talking buying a book for 15, selling it for 42, making 12, $13 profit. And that might not seem that great, but remember, a lot of these books you can buy a few copies of, right? So it all adds up.
We don't have to touch them,
Yeah,
right?
you don't
At
have to
all.
touch them.
So we're not having to use our like manual labor or anything. It's just us buying, clicking, buying. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Brian, the public price for non-book my members is going to be $397. The list to will be available to anyone who's a non-book my member a week from today. If there's still any left, we are limiting it.
I think that's a big if, right? We don't I
Yeah,
don't
that's a big
know.
if.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a big if. If book my members haven't bought the whole thing, it'd be $397. For book my members, it's gonna be $297. We want to give it $100 off because we essentially want to say thank you for being a book my member and giving you guys a reduced price on 1 month of essentially a book my subscription. So we want to give back to you guys. And again, anyone who buys it today as well will get a list of 10 uh, Christmas CDs and DVDs. D-Man says sold. Let's go. Nathan says, does lists have a suggested buy, sell cost, and quantity, or just a list of ASINs? Awesome question there, Nathan. Victor, you want to go and tackle them?
Yeah, so actually we on these books, so it'll have the keep a link, it'll have the title, it'll have the ASIN, it'll have the like the suggested buy price and the suggested amount of books you should buy. So basically, if everything was ideal, that's how many copies you should be buying, and the max price you should be purchasing the book at. So yeah,
Right.
all that's in there. And just like we did in version 1. So yeah, we already had that set up, and yeah, it's I mean, we really put a lot of work into it. So
We did. And even though we give a suggested, let's say, buy price or target price, that doesn't mean you have to 100% follow it. And also, if we give a suggested number of copies we buy, that doesn't mean you have to follow. It's just suggested. This is just from our experience and our expertise, what we would recommend. But if you decide to buy 3 copies of that book instead of 2 copies, then great. If you decide that you think this book is going to do really well and you want to buy for 15 instead of 13, then feel free to do that as well. It's just a suggestion. Um, we have a comment that says, "The Night Before Christmas, can you guys take a look at that and explain whether or not you'd buy it? Even with Christmas owning the buy box on Christmas, would you still get sales?" Good question. Would you mind providing the ASIN? Because Victor, there's like
Yeah.
tons of Night
There's a
Before
ton of
Christmas
Night
books.
Before Christmases.
A ton
Right.
of them, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it says she's gated in Sports Illustrated. Yeah, I think Gary told me this on YouTube as well, that he was gated
Which
in
is
that book.
weird. I went
Yeah,
to go look. I've never been gated on it. You looked at yours, Joji.
yeah,
I asked a few other people. They also weren't gated. So I don't know why Amazon does that every once in a while. But if that's the case, then yeah, you're just not going to be able to sell that particular book.
yeah.
But we're not gated
But
on that book.
But Linda, were you able to sell the other books? I would bet that you could sell all the other books. So
Yeah.
even if, let's say, there are a couple books that you can't sell that you're gated in, it's still going to be a very, very small percentage of the list of 250. And let's say you
Yeah.
do end up purchasing and you're like, Joji, Victor, I can't sell any of them. They're all gated. We'll just, obviously give you your money back. But I don't
Well,
perceive
that's a
that.
good point. If that happens, I mean,
Yeah.
we're
We're not
not
here to take your
gonna
money. We're
we're
not
not
we're
here
not
to
here to
take
take
your
your money and
money.
give you value, right?
Yeah.
Our goal was like, Victor, how could we get people to have 2 to 3x times their investment first year
Yeah.
and then just have an awesome list
Right.
years to come?
Exactly.
So you might be gated in that one. There might be a couple others as well. But what we can say is all the books that we put on the list, Victor and I are not gated on. We're able to sell all of them for the books that we added to the list, version 2. Um, Bob says, I bought the Dallas Cowboy book for $49.93 on June 8th. Let's see. I think you meant to say you bought it for $9.93. I think, yeah, there you go. You meant to buy for. I was like, whoa, you buy the book for $50. That's a
I'm
lot of
like,
money.
wow, I don't remember that book being that
Yeah,
high.
yeah,
Okay.
okay. I saw Victor's
Bob.
face. He was a little worried there. Okay, 930, 993. There we go. There we go. I would say expect to sell that in the 40 to 50 range, right? Book away is definitely a skill to be learned. The better you get, the more money you make. It's a
Exactly.
beautiful. It really is a beautiful
Right.
thing. And I was just thinking about this the other day, Victor, is that, and when thinking about the growth of, your Facebook group and my YouTube channel, it's like I don't think we'll ever explode to hundreds of thousands of subscribers, because at the end
Right.
of the day, this isn't necessarily easy, right? There takes
It's
a
not. Yeah,
you gotta really
it takes skill. And that's
it takes
why once you learn the skill, I mean, you can make a ton of money from it, but you have to have a skill. Like we can't just have people show up here and buy books and be really successful,
Yep.
because it does take some skill.
Olsey says the only hint is the publishing date on this book. Yeah, that probably is true. Although there are tons of old books
There's a
that are
ton of
worth
old
nothing.
books.
There's
Yeah.
tons of old books that are worth
Millions.
nothing as
Like
well.
there's 101 million books on Amazon right now.
Yeah.
Probably 90 million of them are really, really old. So
Okay, interesting. Karen says, here's a comment about he took my licking.
yeah.
Classic. It says a classic retelling of old fable about sacrifice and love. So I would think it'd be a Valentine's book, but apparently not. It's a I don't know. Steven says he took my licking for me out of stock already.
stock
Yeah,
already.
you guys are movers. You guys
Yeah, no,
you're
this our group, when we recommend things, which I really appreciate, that really trust what we say. So yep.
any old heads here from MD here, awesome. 32 NFL teams, says Shannon. Absolutely. I would say
Huh.
if you want to go look, I mean, you could say, hey, rank the top. You could even ask ChatGPT, rank the top NFL teams by popularity. Probably
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys are number 1, or probably top 3, right? So look at the other ones as well. And there could potentially be other Dallas Cowboy books as well. And again, that would be a book, Victor, that I'm thinking like, a son or a daughter or a mom is buying for dad, or somebody who
Right.
really
Right.
loves Christmas.
Exactly.
Really loves,
I don't know about you, but my dad loves the Dallas Cowboys. So
yeah.
definitely that would have been a good book for him. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm gated on SI. Cindy, what is SI? Is that the Dallas Cowboy book? Or
No, Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated. Okay, Sports Illustrated. So that same
Yeah.
book. So for
Yeah.
whatever reason, it looks like there's a handful of people who are gated on that one book. But again, you're not going to be gated on the overwhelming majority of these books. It's interesting that that one particularly is. Lynn says, so I have the
yeah,
book
go
The
ahead.
Night Before Christmas. I'm gated to. It's at my prep center. Okay. Can you give us the ASIN on that one?
Yeah.
And also, major tip here for everyone, especially if you're a newer seller, Amazon does make it more difficult, right, for newer sellers
Yeah.
to start selling before they open up the book category, because they want to make sure that you're a legitimate seller, that you're not scamming people, customers are
Mhm.
happy with the products you're selling. So also remember that in the beginning, you have to do a lot of manual ungating. What is manual ungating, Victor?
So all right, so I'm gonna stick the ISBN number. Go to my own Amazon seller and basically put the ISBN number in, and it'll say apply to sell. So click apply to sell, and usually you have to watch like a video or two and maybe even answer a few questions, but then it becomes ungated. And to us, that's not gating. That's just, you got to click to apply to sell, right? That's, if you have to go in there and then it asks you for invoices, okay, then that book is gated for you. And it's completely different filled in, because you're going to have to buy 10 copies. And we don't recommend that being an early bookseller. Matter of fact, I've never done that in the book category, have bought 10 books to be ungated in any book. If Amazon tells me I can't sell it, usually it's a good thing. That usually means that the book is more than likely a counterfeit book, or could be a counterfeit book. So I just stay away from that book altogether. So yeah.
Nathan says, if you sell all 50 copies today to the list, will Victor give us a personal reading of The Night Before Christmas?
Nathan, what are you talking about? I just had a meeting with a one-on-one with him. This is why he's doing this wild, but no.
Sure, why not? Sure, why not?
Yeah,
Victor,
okay, yeah. The night before Christmas. I don't know who would attend that, but okay.
Yeah. That's awesome. Chelsea says, when will the list be live for Book My members? We're gonna go ahead and email out
Yeah,
a link to the list.
Do you want to do that? Like, maybe I can do the a book, or do you want to, or maybe you want to do it right afterwards?
Yeah, we'll do it right after. We'll do it right afterwards. So we'll email a link to only, again, active paid Book Mine subscribers. So again, if you're somebody who's not a Book My member, you want to become a Book My member, but more importantly, you want to become a paid Book My member. What you do is you go over to Book Mine, and what you do is you go down. So you go on our website, you'd go to pricing. Normally, if you sign up for, let's say, a Gold Pan or a Gold Prospector, you have to start a free trial. But in this case, what you would do is, let's say if you're going to become a Gold Panner, in the coupon section where it says, so right under zip and postal code where it says have a coupon, we're going to put in all caps Santa, right, Victor?
Right, exactly.
We're going to put it all in, and essentially that's going to give you a negative 10-day trial. It's essentially going to say, oh, you want to be a Book My member? We'll pay us
today.
$129.
Yeah, I want to be a paid member today.
I want to be a paid. So then you can go ahead and sign up. Now, the reason why that's so awesome, Victor, is because now all of a sudden you have access to buy the Christmas list, but then instead of being $397, it's $297.
Exactly.
So essentially, you can think of it like, oh, you're able to buy the Christmas list and then become a 1 month book, at least a 1 month Book Mine subscriber.
Remember, for $30,
$29.99.
Yeah,
$30. That's a crazy deal.
$1 a day. We talked about that. We were like $1 a day.
Normally it's $4 a day, but now it could be $1 a day.
Yeah.
And you're gonna find some awesome stuff in Book Mine. So again, you would just under the coupon code all caps Santa, and then you can go ahead and essentially pay us, and then you'd essentially be in our system with your email address, because we have the email address of all active paid Book Mine members.
Yeah.
And within an hour after this video is done, you guys will receive an email if you are a Book Mine member, a paid Book Mine member, with the link to the product with a $100 discount code off. And what else is important to know? Make sure you check
we're
your
not going
spam
to sell
folder.
We're not going to sell to more than 50 people. So
as soon as 50, we're done. We're cutting it off.
Right.
So you might in the future be like, maybe, I don't know how it's going to do. Maybe 50 people won't buy it in the next week. But let's say 50 people buy it today, and you open up your email tomorrow and you click the link, it's going to say, oh, error. There's nothing there. It probably will say like, oh, it's sold out. So
and people have come back to us on version 1 and like, hey, can you secretly give me no, we're not. That's it. Once we get to 50, we're 50. So
okay. So Linda says randomly gated some, but not everything. Okay. David says I'd be in tune for reading. D-Man says he wants Victor to read. Victor. Not easy, but you're turning this non-numbers gal into 11. Let's go, Lisa. That's what I'm talking about. Or
Christmas is the easiest way in, because even for people who aren't book people are like, oh, I know about Christmas books. Yeah. And you know what? They all sell during Christmas, and the rest of the time they're dead books. So you could buy these books for like $5-6 and sell them for like 40 all day long. So
awesome. Chiefs is another football team. Very popular. Very popular.
That's true.
Brian says saw one for Denver before he showed Dallas. Nice. So there's even Denver Broncos book apparently that does well during Christmas.
And I wasn't going to say this, but it's on our Christmas list.
Yeah. We'll say it is on a Christmas list. And then also, I don't know about you, Victor. I'm pretty sure there's other really popular sports besides just. I think there could be something besides NFL.
Yeah.
Maybe basketball. Maybe baseball. Maybe. Maybe soccer. Maybe something that the whole world loves. I mean, just maybe. Just maybe there could be. Yeah. That's awesome. Made me look again, not gated. Good thing Bob's not gated because he actually bought it. Karen says, hilarious. You guys are awesome. Yeah. If you guys are serious about Victor reading The Night Before Christmas just for a good old time, We need ones in the chat. Ones in the chat if you want that. I don't know why. I think I just have
Or
such a great
50
time.
people. Yeah. I'm a bookseller, not a book reader even, but okay.
Linda says, if I'm using a prep center, does that mean I'll need to store the books still until it's a December season? There be
No.
high charges. Okay, really good question. So this means it's probably your first year doing seasonal books,
Yep.
which is awesome because welcome to seasonal books. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Send them in. As soon as you buy them, send them in, even if it's 8 months out, 6 months out, because really the fee is nominal. You're talking about, in this case, a really thin book that's very lightweight. You might pay on the order of 25 cents to have it sit at a warehouse over a 6-month
25
period.
cents for like 5 months.
Yeah.
Right? 6 months. It's not 25 cents a month. 25 cents for the 5 months.
Yeah.
That storage is 25 cents.
Yeah. Which is awesome because I don't know about you, but if you live in a small space, especially, I mean, housing a bunch of these books, it adds up, right? It's like, would I rather pay an extra, let's say, let's say you bought all 250 bucks. Would I rather pay, if let's say you bought it, you could buy them all now. Would I rather, keep them all in my house for 5 months and then ship them in, or just pay, 40 bucks in long-term storage fees to just have them sit there and have it out of my mind, peace of mind. Your husband and wife will like you again because there's not clutter everywhere. There's not stuff everywhere, right?
They're not going to open the door and be like, oh,
there's the Christmas tree. And then the other thing about it as well is oftentimes they'll actually sell before the season.
Yeah, they do.
So, I mean, I've sold Hanukkah books in like May, and I'm like, I even told them, I'm like, Victor.
Yeah, you sent me an email. You sent me an email that one of your Christmas books sold in March, and I'm like, you beat me this year. Yeah.
What are people doing? Why are they buying my Hanukkah book? And I don't understand it. And you're just like, I don't know. It's just what happens. And that's a great opportunity for you to go buy more, right?
Right.
Because what Victor and I try to do is teach, like, buy books below market value and they sell for intrinsic value. But for a lot of these books, intrinsic value in the off season is pretty much dirt cheap. And then intrinsic value becomes much higher, right? But the thing is, sometimes in the off season, you can actually exploit the prime bump and sell a book that technically is worth like $7 or $8 for $35. But that's when you should go back and buy the book again and replenish it and then sell again. So anyways.
Yeah. That March book, you immediately repurchased it. Matter of fact, I think you bought an extra copy of that one. So.
Yep. Okay, Misa says, how about if we're already in the trial? It says you have already subscribed to Bookmine. In that case,
you're going to have to cancel your subscription and then go back in and start a new subscription. Yeah,
cancel the subscription and then go ahead and redo it. We'll include the link for V1 also. No, unfortunately not. So one thing that we did say in the video we shot is that only for gold miners, right, Victor?
Yeah, because there's a few people who were just like, look, I really want version 1. And we talked about it back and forth, and we were like, we're not going to release it to the general public. We're not even really going to release it to just Bookmine members. All right. So if you're at the top tier of Bookmine, we'll send you a link to version 1 that you can purchase it there. And there's only a handful of people at that tier. So
there's less than 10. There's less than 10 people.
And
most of those people probably have already bought version 1 anyways. So I guess they're technically.
Although Nathan isn't one of them, so there'll probably be a couple of people that might be interested there.
Are you guys going to be doing textbooks in the future? Oh, good question, Christian. Right now. We're really just focused on building out Bookmine. We just wanted to bring back version 2 because a lot of people are like super excited about version 1 and kept asking us about version 1. So we're like, I was like, Victor, we got to make a version 2. People just nonstop keep asking us about version 1. Let's make a version 2 so we can actually sell it to people and give people.
These are really premium books, Christian, because in like college books, there's tens of thousands of college books that actually spiked every August and January, or high school books. There's probably like 3,500 of those, a little bit more premium, but I don't know why we'd want to make a leads list, let's just say, of college books, because they're plentiful. Matter of fact, on Bookmine right now, there's a few thousand. So if you're interested in a leads list, go on to Bookmine right now. You'll be able to find some.
Victor, good question for you. Can Victor do voices for all the characters as he's reading the book? Victor, look at all these ones in the chat, Victor. I think you've suddenly become a reader. You've suddenly become a reader of the Night.
I think they just know that I'm not. I don't know how well I would do at that with just random little voices.
I think it'd be awesome. It'd be an amazing time. Yes to Victor.
Oh, Linda said, Linda just said she wasn't gated, so Victor, read.
Yeah, does he even have it? Yeah, you don't even have the book in your house. You'd have to ship it to your house, Victor. You don't even have it.
I don't have it. Yeah, it's at my prep center. I actually asked the prep center, and
have to call Frank my house and be like, ship you one.
Frank would be like, "Why do you want me to send you the book? You to your house? Yeah, to my house.
You wait. You want to pay me to receive your book, open it, and then ship it back to you.
To
He's gonna be
you.
so confused.
Do
He's
you
like,
want
yeah,
me to grade it, or
yeah,
are you gonna be good?" Sticker.
yeah. Don't believe the lies. Storage costs are nothing. Yeah, the
Yeah,
storage
I
fees
know.
are
Me,
so
me,
low.
me and Nathan talked about that. He's like, I had this book that was in there for like 6 months, and it cost me a quarter. And
Yeah,
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 I don't know why people are complaining. Don't
yeah.
stop complaining about having
Especially
books in there for a while. That doesn't make
especially when you
sense.
can, especially when you consider the cost of an actual storage unit. Like storage
Yeah,
units are pretty expensive on a monthly basis. Like, would you rather? Let's say this. Let's say you don't have space in your house. Would you rather pay $250 for a smaller storage space to store all your Christmas books every single month? So would you rather pay, let's say, 250 bucks over, 5 months to pay $1,250 to store it there and then ship them in Amazon, or just let Amazon hold it and you pay $30? Which one's
yeah.
the better? There's just the numbers there, right? Oh, Chelsea says she'll send you the book. Victor, let's go. She said she'll send it. Okay, we might
Why
hope to be
these
true to that
people-
because that would
Maybe
be
Victor
awesome.
could sing for us. I'm like getting red. You guys.
Everyone in the
I'm in a
chat, we need
Christmas spirit, but that doesn't
yeah.
mean I want to read the night
Everyone,
before Christmas.
everyone in the chat, does
Yeah.
Victor need to be wearing a Santa hat? Yes or no? Santa hat and tie? I think so. One in the chat if we need a Santa hat and a tie. I think so. JK Terrell says order 2 books of He Took My Look In on Thrift Books. Congratulations. That's an
Yeah.
awesome book.
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
That's a
so
smart book to buy.
Cody says, Joji, can you review this ASIN and explain how to navigate when Amazon always has the buy box during Christmas? Do you so okay? So I think what you did is probably try to paste the ASIN in the chat, and for whatever reason, YouTube blocks that. I'm not sure why. So I'm not able to see the ASIN. So
So
well,
try to put it in like 3 at a time. Put 3 and then like 3 of the numbers, and then 3 and then 3 and then I
yeah,
guess 1, and you
yeah,
would finally get it.
yeah. So D-Man again, that would only be for the gold miner tier for the if you wanted access to version 1 as well. But again, there's only a few people that are even at that tier anyways. But
Yeah.
that'd be the only way because we do want to protect the integrity of the list. But you have version 2, which is an amazing list to buy that you guys have an opportunity to get. Let's see. Lost to Santa Claus book sending in early. Amazon said 14 was cap. Tried to wait out. Was snatched within an hour. Dang. That's a bummer. Yeah. One of the things about high pricing errors, which by the way, on our Bookmine YouTube channel, we just posted a 1 hour long class that we had done as part of the prospector tier, right, Victor, about high
Yeah.
pricing errors and how to deal with them. And so that's something that that we are gonna have to think about going into the season. That's probably the number one thing that's gonna give people trouble are the high pricing errors and the strategies for okay, how do you deal with that going into the Christmas season? So we talk about it in that video. Not enough time to talk about it here today, just because we're already over an hour and we're supposed to go to an hour. So, um,
Hmm.
but that we have an awesome video on that. Karen says, "Thank you, gentlemen."
Yeah.
Spencer or Jeremy says, "Wait, so if I change my membership to gold member, I can have access?" Yes, I mean
Yes.
that's yes.
Yes, that's correct. But yeah, it was. I mean, that's what we said. So I knew there was going to be a few people who are like, I just desperately need it, and I'm like, okay, well, we
But
need to at least give it to a few people. So I think we're probably going to release it to. Let's just limit that. We're going to give it to 5 people at
yeah, we'll
most,
do 5.
right?
Okay,
Because I really don't
most,
want
yeah,
to oversaturate version 1, and we
yeah.
both talked about that, and we don't want to do that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So we'll do that. We'll limit that to 5. Olsey says Hanukkah books would be interesting. Yeah, there's a few Hanukkah books on version 1 that were great. I
there
don't think
is.
any Hanukkah books made a version 2.
No,
Yeah, I
no,
don't think
not
any
that,
Hanukkah.
not for
I think there are a
not
couple
version
on
2.
version 1. Yeah.
Yeah,
But there are some Hanukkah books that do well.
that's right.
Stats, I started buying my Christmas books right after last Christmas. Some prices dropped mid-January. Yeah, some books get extremely cheap. And Scott, I'm hoping you just sent them into Amazon and paid 40
Yeah,
cents to have them there for the whole year.
yeah.
Out of mine, you're still gonna make $8 profit on the book. Or actually, sorry, you make $7.60 on it instead of $8 profit, right? Because it's being held in.
And you know what? Frank, Frank read it.
Frank
There
read
you go.
Oh, okay. I'll find you a low-cost copy, Victor Reed. I know a source. Let's go. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Okay, this is Lynn ISBN, the night before.
yeah. The
All
night
right,
before Christmas.
Victor, can you
Okay.
go ahead and just? I'm going to share my screen, and then if you could just go ahead and I won't be able to see the chat, so if you can just tell me the number. We got
Okay. 14027506
5x. Okay, the night before Christmas. All right. So one thing that I'm seeing for this book already is this is a book that we, for example, wouldn't put on the Christmas list.
Yeah.
Version 1 or version 2. And the reason why we wouldn't put it on the list is just due to the fact that the lowest use price doesn't get high enough every year. So you can see this previous year, it got up to $5 the year before that.
Yeah.
This book only got up to about $5 the year before that. Looks like it got up to 40, but doesn't have any
But it
sell-through
didn't. It
drop.
didn't sell in the
Didn't
40s
really
when it
sell
made it
there.
to 40, and that's a good note.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is still a great book that sells during Christmas. It just doesn't happen to get that high. So this is a book that wouldn't be included on the Christmas list. Um, with that said, I mean, the buy box use price was as high as 18.99. So I'm not saying that you couldn't have potentially have made a couple dollars on it, but it's not something that we would have included on the list. But you have the right idea, the night before Christmas. But there's probably, I mean, I
Yeah, this
probably know
isn't
of,
the night before Christmas. There's a couple of maybe 50 to 100, probably more of
yeah, of the night before
night
Christmas.
before Christmas books, and that's definitely one that probably could hold one or two people buying and reselling that book and stay in the 20s. Stop, Joji. I'm not going to read the
Oh
night.
no, and he says, yes, and Joji is an elf. All right, I'll do it. I'll do it if Victor does it.
And a picture is the elf. We could both
Uh,
read a line back and forth.
Ooh, Lynn says you have 14 of them. Oh, Lynn. Okay.
Oh,
Oh, okay. So you have 14 of that book that we just looked at. Okay. In that case, if you're gated on those, I don't think it's going to perform well enough because the use
no.
price doesn't get high enough. So for a book like that, it's tough because I'm hoping you didn't buy. I'm hoping you didn't spend a lot on those. It's just
Yeah.
it, and you'll get better at this, Lynn. After you, let me share my
It's
screen
okay. It
again.
really is.
Okay.
And that's why books are fine to like start out with.
Yeah.
And I'd say you just go in there and purchase
Yeah.
books because you can make a few mistakes and still make some money. I'd say you'd probably sell maybe up to 3 copies for around up to $20. But
Yeah.
again, this
Max.
isn't a really great, this isn't really that good. So
Yeah.
if you can't, I don't know if you bought them online, I would maybe return them,
Yeah.
or if you bought, if you did them through thrifting, I mean, then you end
Yeah.
up losing a
Can't
dollar
really,
or two on.
yeah, you can just give them as Christmas gifts or something.
Yeah, there you go.
People like it. Yeah, I mean, so what you're looking for, Lynn, right, is you're looking for this pattern. You're looking for the mountains, right? See how there's mountains with this book? Like so it gets low and then there's a mountain, right? There's a peak and then it gets low and then there's another mountain, right? And it always happens at the same time. It gets low and there's another mountain. And we want that mountain to be, considerably higher. In this case of the book that, the ASIN that you gave us, there is a little bit of a mountain, but it's not a considerable enough amount where you can make money on it, right? It gets up to $6, it gets up to $5. We want to get up to $25, $35, $45. We want to
Yeah.
get up to a higher price. So what I'd say is that that's tough that you have so many of them, but take it as a learning experience. Hopefully you didn't pay too much for them. Spanish says, what is the coupon code? So if you want to become a Book My member today, you just got to put all caps Santa under the discount code. It's a negative coupon code. So you will just
And if
end
you
up,
do it right now, you're actually going to be part of our first list, like our
yeah,
first email.
yeah,
Because
first email.
I'm sending out that we're going to send an email right after this, right? We're going to
Yeah,
send
right
it out
after
to
this.
the people
Yep.
and to all the Book My members. And once we get to 50, we get to 50. So,
Yep.
yep. Good question.
Okay, there we go. Gold miner here, awesome. Which date was the
Yep.
high pricing our video? It's on the Bookmine group. Yeah, so
Yep.
Gail, it's part of the Gold Prospector tier. So it's on Bookmine. It would have been maybe 3 sessions ago, but then also we end up just taking just that one video off of Bookmine
Yep.
and putting it on YouTube on the Bookmine YouTube channel as well, just to show
Right.
people
And we
on the
just
Bookmine YouTube
dropped
channel.
that right yesterday.
Yeah, we dropped it
Yeah.
yesterday just to show
Yeah.
people like what happens in the prospector tier because we had some people reach out to us and say like, "What do you guys talk about?" And so I said, "Well, hey, let's just give them a recording of one of the classes." Just so
Yeah,
they have an
because a
idea.
lot of people ask us, "Oh, is this just like a rah session?" Yeah.
Yeah,
No, we're like, no, we actually teach you stuff in the
we actually
class.
teach you stuff. Matt, all caps,
Yeah.
sign up for Book
Yeah.
Mine.
Yeah. Thank you,
Awesome.
Matt. Yep.
Good, Lynn. You said you didn't pay much for it, which is
Yeah.
awesome. Denise, I love Book Mine. See so much
Thank
time
you.
makes money. Let's
Yes.
go. Thank you for the book. We got a lot of awesome
Thank
things
you,
in Book
Denise.
Mine coming up as well. So we're at that time. We're at 5:45. We're at the end
Yeah,
of the
we could go
comments.
all day, really. So
Yeah, we could really
I don't
go.
even know what time. Okay, yeah, we've been here an hour, almost an hour and 15 minutes. So yeah.
As always, I do have to make dinner here very,
Yeah.
very shortly, so I do need to go. But what I will
I do
say
have
is,
another question for you, Joji. Do
okay.
you think Christmas is gonna happen again this year? I know after all of this, after reviewing
No,
everything you've looked at, I'll look at these books.
I don't know.
Do you think it's
I
gonna
don't know. I
happen,
think
or should we just scrap this list and decide it's not worth it?
I don't know. I think 2023 was a great year for Christmas.
It
I don't know if
was.
I don't know if it's gonna be coming back in 2020. You know what? Jokes aside, guys, Christmas is gonna happen every year. It's been happening every year
We should
forever.
talk to Mariah Carey, who
Yeah.
apparently,
Yeah,
yeah.
ask Mariah Carey if Christmas is dead. She's probably right now working on her CD again, a new CD for Christmas, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
team effort to read. Can't wait to see, man. Raymond says, thank you, Joji and Victor. Absolutely. Thank
Thank
you both
you.
so much to Cindy. Thank you, says Paul. Awesome. Cody says thanks. Absolutely. You guys and gals came out to support. There's 73 people. I was like, oh, Victor Park, like 25, 30 people. No, there's
Yeah.
70 people here.
Wow, this is
That's
actually
insane.
a huge
That's more than 50,
following
Victor.
for us. Yeah,
That's more
yeah.
than 50. So if you're a Book My member, make sure you check
When
your
we
email.
launched Book Mine, we didn't get this many people. We got a couple, like 20 people, and we're like, okay, well, we'll start out here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ken says, "Thank you."
Yeah.
Absolutely. Make sure again that if you are a paid Book My member, so you check your email, but make sure you check your spam folder if you don't
That's
immediately
true.
see it. And again, it'll be
Yep.
within an hour. So within the hour, we'll work on that email and we'll send it out. And make sure you check your spam if you don't see it. Thank you guys. You're the best. Linda, thank you. Appreciate it. Jerry says you're the best. Thank you
You
guys.
guys
Also,
are, it's time to take action.
time to take
Go
action.
and buy these books. Start out being a really great bookseller. So go there and make sure to buy as many of those 250 books as you can. So
Absolutely.
there you
We're
go.
super pumped for you all. And I'm just excited for Christmas because it's an awesome
I'll
time
show you my
during the
tie
year.
again.
Yeah, you should.
I wear this like when I used to have a job. I wear it all the time, and people would give me a ton of compliments. I love this Christmas tie. So,
awesome. All right, Gail says thanks. Absolutely. So we're gonna end it here, everyone.
Yep.
We had a lot of fun.
I really appreciate everybody.
Check your email here in the next hour if you're a Book My member. Again, just make sure that if you want to become a Book My member, that you guys put in the all caps Santa in the coupon code section. And Cindy says she's just waiting. Thanks so much. Need that list so
Thanks,
I don't
Sarah.
screw up again. Okay.
Thanks, Sarah. Yeah.
Sounds good. All right.
Yep.
That's it for us. We'll see you guys. See, it says time for Christmas in July.
In July.
Actually,
Yeah, in June. And now. Yeah, exactly. Buying them now.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Guys and gals, take you later.
Santa. All right.